Hello, this is Tricia with Nex-Tech. I wanted to welcome everyone to the fastest 16 minutes in technology. Today, Mark and Steve will talk about and break down the new operating system, Windows 8. Real quick, though, I have a poll question to put on everyone's screen, and you will be able to answer that with your mouse right now. It should be coming up on your screen. If you'd like to go in and answer the poll question while I read the rest of my introduction, that would be great. And we'll announce the results at the end. I'd like to remind everybody that if you do have a question, you are able to type it on the right side of your screen at the questions pane, and we will answer all of them at the end. Also, if you have a question you'd like to verbally ask instead of typing it, if you just raise your hand, we'll also answer your questions at the end. I'll give a few more seconds for people to answer the poll, then we'll close it down and turn it over to Steve. I closed the poll down. Thank you, everybody, for answering that. I'm going to turn the screen over to Steve now, and he and Mark can start with the 16 minutes. Coming your way, Steve.
All right. Thank you, Tricia, and I'm getting this set up on our end, and we've got a busy agenda today. And, of course, everybody's been wildly waiting for Windows 8 and some of the big changes that are headed our way, and we've been super excited. But to get things started today, the major difference that we're talking about with Windows 8, I think basically it comes down to touch. And Mark, I think you created the top 5 things that you really see with Windows 8.
That's right, Steve, and like you said, here's the top 5. The first one is faster boot up. Microsoft's saying, boot times in as quick as 7 seconds. Obviously, that's going to be dependent on, the hardware that you're running and what kind of applications and things that you have on your startup. But, as quick as 7 seconds is pretty fast. So, especially in a laptop environment, I know a lot of times, you put it in sleep mode, you pop the lid open. By the time you get that lid open, it's going to be ready for you to log in. The next thing is the App Store. Kind of ties into the third one as well as the tablet desktop integration. There is an App Store you can utilize for your desktop, your laptop, and your tablet device. It's going to sync all the way across every device, so whatever you purchase or download on one device, you can utilize it on all your devices. So that tablet and desktop integration is going to be key. I know from myself personally, trying to run Windows and then Android or iOS, there's always that discrepancy between the apps that you're running on your tablets versus what you have on your desktop. So I think that integration is going to be huge. And then running on existing hardware. If you're running Vista or Windows 7, you can run Windows 8. The minimum requirements aren't that extravagant, and like I said, if you're running 7 at least, Windows 8 is not that big of a change from that, so the hardware requirements are pretty low, and you're still going to get great performance, which we'll kind of dive into more details on that. And then the last thing is the live tiles. You can kind of see in the image below that's a little bit more of the tablet interface, but you can run live tiles, so you can get stock market updates, weather updates. You can run a mail app, an internet browser app, and those types of things. You can have scrolling slideshows and things, so you get live tiles with that. So, Steve, what about Windows 8 on the go?
So, yeah, Windows to Go is a huge feature that I think you missed in that top 5 because I have my work machine, I have my personal machine, and I think this is kind of a bring your own device, but with the security that an IT professional wants to have on their environment. So here's what it does. You take a flash drive and you build your entire desktop, your entire computer on this flash drive, but then you can take it home in virtual boot to your desktop from the office, running everything that you have in the office, and of course the licensing follows you, so that you don't have to have another copy of Office at home. Everything is exactly as it works in your office, but you could use it on a computer at the, down there in the motel. You could run it on a computer in your house with all the security that you really expect to have with Windows. Huge feature. Expecting this to be a big change in the industry, and I'm completely ready for this. We haven't beta tested this yet. We're getting ready to, so I'm super excited about this one. And then, of course, the other thing that I'm super excited about is multiple screens, and it's hard to tell from this image, but this would be what it could potentially look like on your desktop with 2 monitors. If you look directly in the center of this particular image, that's where the split between the 2 monitors have. And here's the one thing, Mark, that you probably didn't notice off the bat is there's a toolbar on both monitors. So when it comes to launching applications, you can launch one on the left screen, you can launch one on the right screen without dragging it over to the other monitor. So it's truly making the multi-screen experience to be really a much better experience. And if you want to have 4 screens, you can do that. You notice it stretched this image, this picture across both screens. New feature. Totally excited about this. Can't wait to get this going in the office because I'm so tired of, kind of sorting and having multiple screens. This really brings that experience completely home for me.
I agree, and that's going to be huge. And so talking about some of the new features that Windows 8 is bringing, I know one question that I have is, so what new hardware is going to come out due to the Windows 8 integration with touch and kind of the atmosphere we're used to? So here's a couple touch-friendly devices. As you know, desktops and some laptops and things don't have that touch integration. So how do you get that utilization out of the device you have without, necessarily forklift and everything? The top device is just basically a touch-freely device. It's kind of like a mouse pad, but it gives you the touch integration on your desktop screen or on your laptop, so you can maneuver around on that device. Instead of moving the mouse back and forth, you just kind of use your hand on the touch freely pad. Down below is the touch all over mouse. So it's going to be a very similar mouse integration or mouse style functionality, but you're also going to have some touch point, touch interface throughout the rest of that. So those are a couple of touch devices. Next up, we're kind of getting into a little bit of Samsung integration here. This is kind of an up-and-coming laptop tablet device that basically you can see how the screen can flip, manipulate multiple directions, so you can utilize it as a laptop. Flip the screen over, close the lid down, and use it as your touch interface. You're not going to have the keyboard on the back side, so while you're using the tablet, you're not going to be typing keys. This is not a device that we've seen, or we know it's coming, but one thing I'd be interested to see is the actual structure of the device. That thin rim around the edge there, I don't know what kind of quality that is, so I just want to make sure that, structurally it's going to be safe and sound. Next up is kind of another Samsung tablet integration. You can kind of see just keyboard style, but it has a dock right on top there that you can dock your tablet right into. So when you're out of the office, on the go, you've got your touch tablet, touch device with you. You come back in and you need to type a Word document or Excel spreadsheet. Dock it right down on the keyboard and continue moving forward. Next up is got a couple devices from Lenovo. This is the swivel. So a little bit of old technology mixed in with some new. I know if anybody's familiar with the tablets of old, the picture on the left side there kind of shows you what some of that technology. Also merging with, down in the lower right corner, just some kind of convergence there. So whether you want to utilize it for a laptop or a tablet, you can do that in both ways, and you're going to have that keyboard, to carry around with you at all times. The next piece that Lenovo has done is they've taken their tablet and integrated it with a laptop-style keyboard. So you can undock your tablet from the keyboard, take it with you. If you want to take the keyboard with you, when you dock it down, you can actually close it just like a laptop. So it kind of gives you that mixed functionality of, laptop tablet interface. Next up is the ThinkPad tablet. We've been running this with Android on it. One thing I love about this is the stylus. Works really great, especially if you're in meetings taking notes. You're not constantly, typing on a keyboard or something like that. So it kind of gives it that little more friendly feel that, number 2 pencil and a notepad. You're writing your notes and documenting everything that way. Still got the Windows 8 tablet interface. So next up, we talked about Samsung, we talked about Lenovo. Steve, I know that you've been playing around with Microsoft's version, Surface. I'd just like to have you give us an update on what your experience has been with that.
Yeah, so I've had this device here for, 3 weeks now, and another guy here in the office has one. And you know what, Mark? Here it is. I hate it. I hate to be quite that honest about it, but here's the deal. It's an amazing piece of hardware. The screen size, the metal back, the keyboard in the case, that's all awesome. The problem is these 2 letters at the end of Surface, RT. It is a disaster, and here's why. First of all, from a standpoint that you cannot install any Windows app that you want to install. You have to buy it from the App Store. All right, fine. They have an App Store. They have 500 apps out there. And 500 sounds like a lot. It is nothing compared to the Android App Store or the iOS App Store from Apple. The apps that you expect to be there just aren't there. An example, Dropbox. You can't install the Windows app version that's on their website, so you have to have an app. Well, guess what? Dropbox doesn't have an app as of right now. I assume you expect them to have one. That means that Dropbox is worthless on this device. There are tons of other examples where you just can't get it done, and it is a plain mess. Now, when they come out with the Surface Pro version, you'll be able to install Windows apps. It fixes that problem, so I highly recommend the Pro version. So here's an example of what happens. Really, it's a very similar device. It is not out yet, so be clear. The Pro version is not out, but it's coming, and I think that's going to fix all of the problems that I have with this. Plus, I get that pencil like you talked about earlier. I did put some detailed specs between the RT and the Pro. Major spec difference that you're going to notice is you can install Windows applications. So if you have a Windows CD that you install in Windows 7, it will most likely run in the Windows 8 version. Also, the storage. Oh, yeah, thanks, Mark. You pointed out this is a 32 gig unit that we bought here at the office. Half of that space is taken up by Windows. So it's actually a 16 gig device that is misleading as can be. And so that's a huge problem. Now, you can put the flash drive in the side and gain more storage, but what a mess. Tell me it's 32 gig, but I can only use 16? Oh, that's just disappointing. So some of the other things that you notice on here in particular is the fact that the unit is actually just a hair bit thicker, weighs just a little bit more, but it has more battery, so that's a bonus. Storage requirements are higher on the Pro, so it gives more storage. We're yet to see exactly how much I'll be able to use. We'll see on that. Does have higher resolution on the screen. Really appreciate that. Don't know that I need it right now, but that's definitely a nice piece. Other than that, pretty much similar device. So I'm really hoping that fixes all the problems I hate with this RT thing. Mark, speaking of RT, this device comes with Office 2013, which I love, right? Real Office on a tablet. So 2013, what's the difference?
Basically, the structural design, I know 2003 to 2007 was a big change. 7 to 10, 10 to 13, structurally, it's very, very similar. You're not going to notice a whole lot of differences. What they've really done with this product is enhanced it to allow for better touch capability. So you can kind of, maybe you could see on the icons there at the top, the save, open, undo, redo. Those icons are actually widened up and made a lot bigger. So people like me that have fat fingers, you can touch those icons and you can utilize those a little bit better with that touch interface. So the other enhancements that they've made is kind of for that tablet use. So when you're out on the go, you've got full Office. You can type a Word document, manipulate it, save it, put it in your Dropbox when that becomes available, and then utilize that on your laptop when you get back into the office. So those are a lot of the big advancements that are being made, especially getting that touch integration, which is huge. So as we mentioned before, here's kind of some of the detailed specs. Steve, do you want to go over some of the things that you've seen with this?
Yeah, if you have a computer that has less specs than this, you need a new computer. That's all I have to say about that.
That sounds great. So, the next question really becomes is, how do I get Windows 8? They've actually got a really great upgrade, great package. Download the Pro version, not the Home Edition or anything like that. This is Professional Edition, $39.99. I just think that's an amazing price. And yeah, there's some issues with the RT Edition on the tablet, but if you're buying a new computer, if you're buying a new laptop, or if you just love to have latest and greatest technology, I'd really strongly recommend looking at Windows 8 as a viable option. From the PC, laptop standpoint, it works phenomenal. You still can manipulate between the touch interface or just the standard Windows interface that you're used to, just like Windows 7. So from that standpoint, it's going to be very similar. Another huge benefit is you can utilize this $39.99 upgrade, and you can do it from XP, you can do it from Vista, or you can do it from Windows 7. So that's huge. I know there's still people out there running XP. some people are running Vista, and I know there's a lot of Windows 7 users out there. So if you've got the hardware to support it, $40 is not a lot of money to get this great product.
And now let's be clear, Mark, end of the year. We don't know what's going to happen after the end of the year. This promotion is a limited promotion for Microsoft, so not real sure if they're going to do something crazy like they did, I don't know, with Windows 7 and Vista, where you had to pay $200 or something ridiculous to upgrade. I'm recommending that you go this direction because it is a flawless operating system. I think it all comes down to some of this hardware stuff. This failure to launch an RT, don't take that too seriously against the operating system. It's really a limitation that Microsoft put on it. Go Pro, you'll love that piece of it. Get a new piece of touch interface here, and I think you'll really do it. And ultimately, Mark, here's what I think the key is. I think this is going to replace my iPad, my Android tablet, and all of this, and give me the device I actually wanted when I got these things. I think.
I hope so. Having multiple devices can be tough at times. There's some apps that can help with it, but if you can have one device, be in a meeting, be out of the office, and use that tablet touch interface, come back in the office, dock it, and have that full PC laptop integration, I think that'd be huge.
And then, of course, if you have time, you want to stop by the Nex-Tech office, give us a call, give us a little heads up you want to stop by. We'll show it to you in person, let you see this stuff, touch it, see the RT version, see a large screen touch version, see some of the different Windows 8 devices running. And with that, Tricia, I think that you have the answer to our question on the front, and let's see if she has any questions for us.
I don't show any questions up right now, but we do have the poll answered. So it shows that 50% of everybody who answered the question are planning on updating to Windows 8 within the next year. 38% don't plan on updating at all, and it looks like 13% maybe in the next 6 months. So we have some people out there who are definitely probably helped by your presentation today. I still don't show any questions. Oh, I'm sorry. I just got a question. Let's see here. How does printing work with the tablet?
So it is a Windows device, so the question then becomes a two-tiered question. If you're talking about the RT version, you have to have a mobility printer that accepts RT, and they have an app which is really limited right now because iOS and Android both have apps that you can do printing on the go and whatnot, and it works really well. But if you're talking the Pro version, it works just like a regular computer. It is a regular computer. So a network printer, a USB printer, those kind of things. What we've seen is anything that was compatible with Vista, Windows 7 is compatible with the Windows 8 printer-wise. There are some new drivers coming out for Windows 8 to give some advanced functionality. But the cool thing is, unlike a iPad or an Android tablet, it just prints like a regular computer because that's what it is.
Okay, great. I got one more question here. I said, how are Windows 8 drivers required for old devices?
So again, what we're seeing is that if it met those minimum specs, they have, oh geez, I thought I saw the number of drivers like 100 and some thousand drivers out there. So there is a possibility you don't have. However, if you go to the download link for Windows, just Google Windows 8 download. There is an application in there that will run a comparison of your hardware and tell you what is and what is not compatible. I did it on a couple machines, and it was 100% compatible. So that's the direct answer to your question is definitely run the compatibility wizard that's out there. It's really simple. It's easy to run on your machine, and then you'll know exactly what is and is not compatible with Windows 8.
Okay, I have one person has their hand raised, so we'll see if we can unmute their phone here, or I guess they typed in the question. We'll just read it for them. Will Windows 8 run virtual PC to run older programs not compatible?
So there is no piece of that in there at this point, meaning XP compatibility mode, I believe is what you're talking about. Now, it will run any application that ran in Vista and 7, so that would not be the issue. The one thing that might be interesting here is you can run virtual machines live, real time, without doing dual boot. And I know that's a little techy. So technically, if you have a copy of Windows XP, you could run it in a dual boot mode inside of this machine, but it does not have an XP compatibility mode that Windows 7 has. So if you're running it that way, that's pretty much gone in Windows 8. But again, if you have a copy of Windows XP, which most of us do, you could run it in full virtual machine, meaning you fully boot into XP. But of course, you're running it with Windows 8. I know that gets a bit confusing. So I think most of your concerns should be addressed.
Okay, it looks like that is all of our questions for now. I do want to thank everybody for logging in and attending the fastest 16 minutes in technology with us, and remind you that we're going to have a couple of more in December. We've moved them up in a month due to Christmas. So for the techie people out there, our Tech Talk webinar will be December 4th over network security, and then the next fastest 16 minutes will be December 11th, and we're going to cover some Christmas Geek Gifts 2012. So hope to see you all there, and thank you for attending. Bye.